Oh, the fear-mongering's in full swing. Oh, man, it's happening. Channel 9 KMBC reporting here over the weekend. Nashville's pursuit of Major League Baseball team could involve the Kansas City Royals. Oh, no, here we go. Oh, my goodness gracious. Please. I'm not buying it. I'm not. Now, there may be a day that comes where ultimately John Sherman says, I've tried everything I can do here. I've tried Jackson County. I've tried KC Mo. I've tried the Legends. I've tried the West Bottoms. I've tried Clay County. I've tried it all, and I just can't get what I need to make this thing a profitable venture, and I got to go. But if and when that day does come, I don't think John Sherman's going to Nashville. I think he's selling the team, and somebody's taking the team to Nashville or somewhere like that. But this notion that, gosh, if we just don't bend over and give these teams whatever they ask for, Nashville's calling, there's nothing to suggest that that is in anywhere close to being imminent at all. Now, does Nashville want Major League Baseball? Yes, but what's much more likely, according to multiple reports, is Major League Baseball looking at expansion, not moving current teams from one city to another. It's well noted that Major League Baseball is looking at expansion, which would mean additional teams. It would not mean taking the Royals and shipping them to Nashville. But Channel 9 KMBC, putting this report together, an aggressive pursuit of Major League Baseball in Nashville has raised questions about the possibility of the Royals moving there. And they quote Jackson County legislator and local media whore Manny Abarca, who told KMBC, quote, they told us they're going to pursue all and every option, and out of state is an option. Now, here's the problem for guys like Manny Abarca. Manny Abarca got all in and went all in on the 3/8 cent sales tax extension. And he got smoked. And now he's trying to do a little CYA. Now, he will also talk to any media who will talk to him. And, you know, unfortunately, there's too many in this town who, think he's a credible source of anything, so they'll talk to him. You know, it's like, this is how it works in local media. Somebody makes an appearance on some local TV channel, and then other TV channels are like, oh, I guess that person's mildly important, so we'll talk to him too. And I've heard rumblings that this guy stands outside of TV stations looking for interviews. I say that tongue-in-cheek in case anyone actually takes me seriously on that front, but it wouldn't surprise me. So he's now doing the whole fear-mongering thing of saying, well, look, they're going to go to Nashville. I told you guys we should have voted for that 3/8 cent sales tax. The only downside to the 3/8 cent sales tax failing is that it has led now to the border war issue, because the state of Kansas is willingly and gullibly playing along in this game and giving the teams exactly what they want, which is leverage. That's the only downside to all this. And I say this as somebody, and I preface this whenever I bring it up, because I think it's important to note that, yes, I believe the Hunt family has done an incredible job, on behalf of the Kansas City region. I have great respect for the family. Same thing with John Sherman, who's been on this show. Great respect for what he's trying to do here with this baseball team in Kansas City. But it doesn't mean that their plans have been fully transparent on behalf of the taxpayer and the people. It also doesn't mean that their plans are the reason their votes went down in flames in April. It was as much as anything about Frank White and the failures of Frank White and his administration to run a county in an efficient way. It was as much as anything about the property tax debacle from 23 that still pisses off a lot of residents. And you have every right to be ticked off about what happened back in 2023. So anyway, Channel 9 goes on the report. A group called Music City Baseball has been pursuing a major league team for Nashville since 2019. The group previously pursued the Tampa Bay Rays, but is now focused on finding property to build a ballpark for an expansion franchise. So they're looking, as the article goes on the notes, an expansion franchise. Bob Kendrick, head of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum here in town, said he's unaware of any conversations the Royals or owner John Sherman may have had with Nashville. Kendrick said, quote, as a businessman, you have to weigh all your opportunities and possibilities. And so if he did have conversations with Nashville, I think he would be well within his right to do so because you want to try and find the best situation for the success of your franchise. Reached by phone and text message, John Lohr, who runs the day-to-day operations for Music City Baseball, said, quote, he's never had a conversation with Royals owner John Sherman about a potential move to Nashville. Now, could he be lying? Of course. It's always possible. But there's nothing to suggest that this team is going anywhere outside of the region. And certainly same thing with the Chiefs. That's why I have not understood this push from people to suggest and buy into the propaganda, and that's what it is, that Kansas did a favor to the region last week by basically committing to the fact that the teams are going to stay here in the Kansas City area thanks to their Star Bonds proposal, which has no details behind it. There aren't any. We don't even know how big a Star Bond district has to be to create the revenues to pay off the bonds. Nobody's done a study on this yet. We act like this is like somehow a done deal. Kansas has a great proposal to get the teams. They don't even have a proposal to get the teams. All they have is legislation that gives them the opportunity to do economic data studies to try to put together a deal to then get the teams. That's all this is. That's it. No one has shown you a study to suggest how the revenue gets generated based on 9 or 10 football games a year and maybe 81 baseball games a year, and where this district has to be drawn to create the revenues to pay back over $1 billion in bonds. No one's done it yet. So you can't suggest that Kansas is a serious player until that data is provided and that economic study is taken care of. And no one's done it yet. The state hasn't done it yet. It's all just a lot of loud noises is all it is. And it makes for, I guess, good social media and good radio for people who don't understand how politics works and how any of this stuff works, especially on the sports side of things where there's a lot of clueless voices out there. And then it also works for, local politicians in Jackson County who want to do the whole I told you so thing. But really, they're not. There's nothing there to suggest that they can play the I told you so card right now. Because all Kansas did was throw out an opportunity to potentially look at the feasibility of putting together a package to bring the teams to Kansas. The ultimate winner here, the teams. They got leverage that they can play out in the media. But as Scott Fawn said late last week, our buddy from the Missouri Times who's going to be here in studio at 8:35 on KCMO. He's doing his F-150 tour across the state of Missouri, which he does every election cycle. He's hearing that Clay County is back in the mix. And as I did some digging on that over the weekend, I believe Clay County will very much be back in the mix for the Kansas City Royals in particular, which would make a heck of a lot more sense for them if they're going to leave Jackson County than going out to a cornfield out by the Legends. At least you get some kind of a downtown atmosphere over there. So that is still very much in play, and I believe will come back to the forefront in the months ahead.